are still prioritizing getting rid of that Varus.
Yeah, we saw from Hans Sama yesterday playing in all 3 games for G2, kind of varying the kind of different builds you can go with. It can go poke, of course, it can go the on hit, but not going to be seen today. And already we got the Lucian locked in straight off the bat.
I'm not the biggest fan of this, though. We've kind of seen Lucian hasn't been able to find much success here in the LEC. I think if you actually wanted to go towards something like a Zeri here, or even if you want to go towards a Wukong in that first pick, I think that could have been a little bit better. Just trying to set up your jungle and then see how you want to retaliate against Vitality. But Annie immediately going to be taken. Still going to have the flex here for Perks versus Kaiser, but certainly I think okay. I was going to say having that flexibility where you want to try and put that bot side so Perks can match up against Leader in that mid lane, but already getting the Draven coming through, that is a very aggressive bot lane if you can try and set up with a Nautilus or something for that Draven.
I mean, it kind of comes down to kind of how Upset has been, you know, kind of a catalyst for this team since coming in. He is a carry player. That is a carry champion, and you want to be given resources to it.
I think it's also fight fire with fire, right? Kobe and Jonghoon have been doing really well in the 2v2. Upset and Kaiser, fantastic in the 2v2. So I think the Lucian Nami was like, hey, we want to try and match and try and have that more aggressive matchup for ourselves here. And then Upset and Kaiser went, yeah, cool, that sounds great. We're just going to go even further that direction. Silas taken for a leader in that mid lane. I think anticipating that this Annie is probably going to be going mid.
It's a fairly safe assumption as well, considering you got the Nautilus that can go so well into that bot lane for the Draven as well. But again, we'll see what they kind of want to work at. And the thing is as well is that you're kind of locking in your solo lane of mid lane specifically very, very quickly. And it does mean that you are looking towards kind of, you know, getting those solo laners now banned away. The jungle kind of falling very far down in this draft as well. So this is something that we haven't really been seeing globally. Sometimes it's basically been the Wukong and the Vi handshake. But now we have an opportunity for these two teams to kind of ban away maybe some of those safer picks.
Yeah, I think the big one is going to be, again, as you say, like focus jungle, especially for Vitality. Well, I was about to say, because you get that first rotation, but actually going to be getting rid of the Malphite, making sure that they're like, okay, we got a Draven, we got an Annie. We're high burst, but not high DPS. So trying to make sure that they're comfortable there. Maybe they continue into things like the Scion and that, but I think when you're looking at Astralis, this is a very we want to go in sort of conversation here. So maybe we're looking towards Finn line up something like a Kled as well on that top side, but I don't know if he wants to just go for the Kled blind.
See what they want to kind of lock into here. And for Astralis kind of work through the regular split, even their first series against Fnatic as well, we kind of saw a lot. I mean, when leader has agency, when he has something that can kind of make its own little opportunities, it does feel like they feel a lot more comfortable in that regard. And, you know, we were only speaking about it earlier today. Jonghoon is having an exceptional time right now and really kind of, you know, pushing himself to the forefront as someone who has to be feared. And something with the Nami that can kind of leave that lane and kind of do its own thing, set up with the tidal waves. Very good to see him on that.
And in Fnatic, we saw him really step up on the Leona, making sure that he's hitting double ultimates onto some key carries at key moments. And he's been really impressive on this Nami as well in this split and last split as well. So we'll have to see if we can keep this one up. Wukong going to slip through the draft. Unsurprising to see that picked up for Bo. We'll have to see if he can try and set up for those strong team fights. I think he had a better performance on this Wukong when we look at their last series. So maybe we get a repeat here. It's just a question now of what 113 wants to go towards. He has defaulted towards things like Viego in the past, and with so many of the jungle bans gone, maybe that's an option here for him.
I mean, we saw the Viego being picked up for him against Vitality earlier in the split, so this is something he is very much versed on, something he knows he can kind of bring into this matchup. It does mean you are very much looking for those kind of, you know, early kind of setups really with the kind of setup. You don't really have a lot of engage apart from the Olaf kind of going in with the Silas to kind of get onto their backside. So we'll see what they want to go for here in Astralis, but the Olaf locked in does mean they can go straight for that Draven.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the Maokai here realistically for 113. I thought they might have Finn go on towards the engage tool, but you definitely need something that's a little bit more set up there. So they are going to go for the Maokai. So you can already see very short range, a ton of we want to dive onto the back line, and it's a case of seeing how Vitality are going to respond. Right now, I think K'Sante could work wonders for Photon on the top side, but we haven't seen him kind of go towards that. It's been a lot more kind of the carry picks, but either way, it feels like Vitality are in a fantastic spot here to absorb this pressure with an Annie, and honestly, even something like a Darius. I mean, we saw it yesterday from Adam, where if you're having everyone run into you, it works out pretty well there.
Oh, they decided to go for the Kled themselves, so kind of seeing how good do you know the opposite of this matchup really to Finn.
Well, I was going to say, Finn came into the league as a Kled.
Yes.
Like back when he was Blomster Finn coming in. So I definitely think he's
on the back
well
of
familiar
Scarl,
with
honestly.
this. Exactly, yeah. So I definitely, it's going to be interesting to see how Photon tries to set up against this. I think Olaf still has a lot of control in those early levels just with the sheer amount of damage and healing that he has. So I think it's going to be a case of trying to instead look at what is two big compositions that want to just butt heads every opportunity that they can, dive in on top of each other and try and ride the back of what is going to be an explosive early game, I feel like, for both these squads.
I mean, explosive and also just straight up snowbally. It just feels like a one small kill, one bad that fight either side can decide the entire game.
And I feel like that's where a lot of it's going to come down to the mid lane, right? Can Leader have a big impact on this Silas, where he's able to steal away some of these core ultimates, play towards some of these early objectives, and play towards what has been Astralis' strength? Or can Perks have the same control that we saw from on Saturday, where he was fantastic against Mad Lions in roaming, making plays happen, and taking over the game from that mid lane?
This is only the first game of this best of 3, but a shot at playoffs. Lock and load yourself nice and early. That is what you want to be seeing. Both these teams showing very clear win conditions, also very clearly how they want to fight all the damn time. We'll have to wait and see how both of them execute on their compositions. Plenty could go right, plenty could go wrong. You just gotta hope that the execution is on point for these two teams.
Vitality were looking great when they came off the back of their 2-0 victory against Mad Lions. Astralis, coming in as the second place team, have a lot that they want to try and keep their streak running and try and show to the world that they are a team that has improved massively over the course from summer to winter, and now coming into spring. A position in top 4 available for both these squads. They'll have to see if they can try and fight their way through it.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any early game shenanigans as we do jump onto the Rift. We have our first game of this best of 3. Astralis kind of grouping themselves up towards that top side, maybe thinking Photon will get a little bit aggressive. You can be a little bit safer on the Kled with the Skarl, kind of, you know, having those 2 health bars effectively to you and getting that invulnerability, but it is just going to be a trade of vision right now. And already Vitality, they've snuffed this out a little bit. They got some great vision control.
Yeah, nothing went down on the opposite side for Astralis, so right now Vitality waiting in the bush. All 5 members are here though, so yeah, I think the call is let's just get out. We spotted everyone on Astralis there, so we'll walk away, but at least know that where Astralis is going to begin.
Now this is the thing, Astralis don't know that Vitality are still here, but do they look for Younghoon?
Oh, was he spotted?
I don't know if he was spotted. I don't think he was. No pings went down. The Maokai's still up by the Raptors. They might try and wrap this one around. 113 might be in some serious danger here as they look to try and catch him out. There they go, flash in, there's the hook. Kaiser does get the little bit of it. CC gets brought back in by Perks, and that's first blood to the Draven. No stacks this time, but a great start.
A lot invested here by Vitality though. Flash on Kaiser, flash on Perks to make that happen. Will give Bo a fantastic start here and the early kill for upset, but they'll have to make sure that they are playing safe in this mid lane, not allowing this 2v2 from 113 and Leader to punish the flashless Annie.
It's all information. It was the information Astralis did not have to try and, you know, confirm that that was going to happen. So nice to see Vitality getting what they wanted, but like you said, a lot invested for it. 2 flashes and an ignite does mean you kind of lose that priority in the mid and the bot lane as well for that first early push. So we'll wait to see what Bo can use now with this early advantage he's been given.
And I think for 113, you're aware, right, my entire bot side's gone. Want to try and evade onto the top side, but at the moment, Finn hasn't been able to get that level 1 push against Photon. So Photon being able to crash that wave means that you can't really invade, because, I mean, Perks has control in mid, you've got control on the top side for the Kled. So options here for 113 fairly limited, but yeah, just Jonghoon not quite being able to see what was happening, and everyone on Vitality setting up perfectly here. Right as Jonghoon walked away, just great timing there.
Just so unfortunate. And again, you know, I like this from Vitality. Yes, they do invest a lot for it, but at least they invested. They didn't just lose 1 flash, then he gets out because he's able to flash away and they don't gain the kill. They go for it fully, and that means they're able to kind of get themselves back into a much stronger position. It does mean no flash hooks coming in from Kaiser for at least the next few minutes, so unless the Hex flash can come out, but you would imagine it's going to be pretty safe for the Astralis bot lane, at least for the in-term.
I feel like you got to still try and play this matchup aggressive in the bot side as Bo goes in on towards 113. First move here for Leader though.
Leader does get stunned up. We'll see Bo getting caught by the Nature's Grasp. Flashes away from Leader, who's going to get the abscond of Duck going in on top of him. No more CC down, but now Leader's in a lot of trouble, and the staff comes down. Double kill over to my boy Bo. And he's doing exceptionally well. Now Finn underneath the tower, can he trade back? Yes, he can. It's a 1-for-1 on the top side. Vitality came to play.
Wait a second.
Down the bot side. Kaiser does get hit by the Aqua Prism, but those are some very deadly spinning axes. Kobe with a bit of gunfire power himself, but there is action across the map, Dagda.
This is a big win for Bo and Perks in that mid jungle though. There was an opportunity for 113 and Leader to try and punish, but now Leader has no flash. Upset taking a lot of damage with the bone plating gone, and Kobe just waiting to see if he has enough damage to dash forward once more, but everyone will back away. And Vitality will be happy with the early gold lead that they picked up. You see it here. Bo goes aggressive here, has that red buff, which is also adding a ton of extra damage, but the aftershock fades before Bo really invests a lot of the damage. The early stun from Perks onto Leader means he's not able to get in. And then the great flash from Bo here as well. And good target selection. Leader is the main source of damage right now. Your Maokai isn't really going to be a threat in the early stages. And Vitality are able to pick up the 2 kills.
Very aggressive early game coming in here for Vitality as well. Really kind of recognizing they can be aggressive, getting that early damage, getting the fact that you have 2 long swords now ahead. I know the 113 won't be building it anyway, but that's still just damage in the back pocket.
And I think one of the big things we saw from Vitality was that we couldn't get Bo and Perks realistically working together in week 3. But when we look at Perks this week versus what we saw in that week 3, I think he's just been absolutely incredible. The way he's been able to set up on picks like the Yone to be a major carry, now getting the roams off when we saw him as well in that game too. Again here in this game as well, making sure that he's involved in these early plays. Perks is stepping up again to be a big carry.
Yeah, you gotta be so careful on the spot side now as Kabe loses half his HP, but definitely going to be seeing what Perks can do. Again, having the agency with those flash tibbers as well.
I think the thing is as well, Frankie was talking to him in an interview and Perks was saying, look, one of the big things that I've been trying to do from patch, the previous 2 patches coming into 13.6 is, can I figure out this meta? What is going to work best for me and my team? And it definitely feels, when we've seen such a wide variety of champions from so far, he definitely feels like he's found his style and how he can play both as the carry and then, as you point out, more of a facilitator style here with the Annie.
Having that versatility in your draft as well, like, Perks kind of arguably one of the best Western players to ever do it, really. Does feel like he has an unattainable amount of accolades to his name. We'll see Bo going for an early Dragon take, but 113 is very aware of this. They have got pressure in bot and mid, but Leader could just sneak himself off. Tibbers is available for Perks, and he has flash, so you have to be very aware of that if a fight does end up kind of breaking out. Leader might look for his own little bit of a cuddly friend, might steal that one away. But at the moment, it does look like it's just going to be the Dragon confirmed because he got bot lane priority.
And this is where, again, it's feeling very Vitality favored, not only because of the control that they've had, but when we look towards how Astralis like to play the game, we talked about them looking for early skirmishes, trying to find those advantages. And right now, this has been Vitality making sure that 113 can find any sort of way in towards mid lane. Leader hasn't been able to have any sort of impact, and Photon doing a fantastic job as well in this top lane to keep Finn in check.
113 is moving up towards here, though. No flash on Photon. We are going to see the charge come out here, and there's going to be the Ragnarok as well. I don't think you got many places to go here, Gled. Photon took a fight he could not win, and Finn says, you know what? I know this matchup pretty damn well. We go towards that bot side. We are going to see the hook land on the Young Hoon, and the AD carries try and juke it out just a little bit. Bo does not have his ult nor his flash, and he has been spotted out now on a ward as well. And
some of those bot lane plays did come back to bite them the last time Vitality and Astralis played together. So Bo rightfully kind of backing off here, remembering that it ended up giving Astralis a ton of kills to Kabe, and they're able to ride that to victory. So I think taking a bit easy here as Kaiser gets the minion.
And loses Upset's flash because of it. Unfortunately, if that hook lands, maybe they get a good damage trade, but unfortunately for Upset, it does not. And that means he is in a very compromised position. The Astralis bot lane just kind of happy to soak up this wave. And look, it is a kill lane from Vitality, so them going kind of 0-0 across the board is kind of okay.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just trying to see if you can get more kills onto the Draven, trying to see if you can snowball him, because I think you really realistically need Upset to step up big here. You have Perks on the Annie, but it is, again, not going to be a big AoE 1v9 champion. Photon can do some work on the top side, but a huge amount of this game relies on Upset and this Draven, and making sure that he's in a position to carry against Finn, who's running them down, Leader, who's trying to dive onto the back line, even having access to the Tibbers as well. So if Upset is in a good spot, Vitality will be happy, but they need to make sure that that good time is continuing.
The good times roll. To kind of go for this one here. And look, for Vitality, we talked about it a little bit in Champ Select. A lot of expectations on this roster. You're coming in with Bo, had exceptionally high expectations of him, coming over from the side of LPL. We have a bit of a soft spot for him because of those days as the Rift Herald does get secured by the Vitality squad. But it does feel like, this team has had a little bit of a turbulent time as such. You think about kind of like where they've been going from. it hasn't been the most exceptional finishes for this Vitality squad. It feels like 2018 Worlds was the last time we really had a time to cheer about this team.
And it was kind of sad because especially looking back at winter, a lot of people were looking at Vitality going, fantastic, we got this super squad again that's coming in, they're looking brilliant, but they couldn't quite get their bot lane under control, and it felt like they just weren't able to work as well as they were hoping to around the style that they had picked and snowballing off these big gold advantages. Now with Upset, looks like they might have found a success and they're looking for it for him.
They're looking for him. There's going to be the whirling death flash away, but Younghoon means he does not die. They're going to see now the Nautilus has nowhere to go, and he goes down. The Rift Herald does get dropped, but I don't think that's going to do much for you here as the Wukong dies as well. Photon flashes over to catch out Leader and trades it back 2 for 1, but it's going to be a 3 for 1 in just a second. TP coming in from the Annie. Don't think it's really going to do much for you. Photon, though, as well. Over on the wrong side of the map, he doesn't have anywhere really to be, and that's just going to be a huge overstep from Vitality.
It's deja vu for Vitality as well. This is exactly what happened the first time these teams faced off in the regular split. Over-aggression from Vitality, trying to punish Kobe and Jonghoon, and Astralis turned it around. Now Perkz is in so much trouble.
You can't see him during Ragnarok. It's too big of a festival. He cannot be stopped. One more swing of the axe, and that is going to be another kill. Finn getting the solo bolo, and Vitality, it was all going so well. What happened?
It's a party for the brawl off in the bot lane. Things are looking good for Astralis on top side, and just like that, Vitality again, this over-aggression that we see from them a hell of a lot, especially, unfortunately, from guys like Bo, where they overstep, they try to make too much, and here Kaiser tries to go all in. Bone plating doing work at the early stages, gives Jonghoon the opportunity to flash away, gets the heal, 1-1-3. Great positioning with the ultimate as well to make sure that he's able to keep his team in check, and with both members down, 1-1-3 to follow up onto Upset as Photon tries to save the play, but Jonghoon still has that ultimate to keep him out of the picture, and then Kobe's able to set up the kill here onto Upset.
I mean, the 1-1-3 getting that Bramble smash onto Bo as well, that knocked him back towards the turret, really putting him in a very compromised position, and, you know, again, it's just kind of very easy for the Lucian Nami to kite that one out.
And just like that, you're looking at 3 kills now onto Finn, who had been set behind early by Photon. He's going to be in a relatively okay spot now. You're looking as well at seeing if Cobain almost with that Gale Force complete, not quite there, but with Dragon now in just 10 seconds, it looks like Astralis is going, hey, we're going to forgo this. We want to see if we can get more gold into Kobe and Jonghoon and make sure we're playing off of this mid-game spike that they're trying to make happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's so hard to kind of really defend this now as a Draven and Nautilus. You go in very well, but to kind of actually kite this one back, it's going to be very difficult. They are calling up Perkz to make sure they don't lose too much. Vitality will get their second Dragon of the game, as Bo solos that one out. 1-1-3 nowhere near this vicinity, and of course Photon having the push down that bot side. But again, Vitality just needs to kind of calm it down, bring it back. You're not behind just yet, and you've got plenty of time to get get this win, get those momentum going.
Brilliant read from Perkz to move up towards that top side, because they were looking for the cross map, but with Leader unable to move, Perkz shuts that down immediately, so you get the Dragon without Astralis doing too much. But now Perkz is preoccupied. Vitality are still here. And it looks like 1-1-3 with that ultimate now available might try and look for a rinse and repeat. Leader even hovering topside, but Vitality's bot lane are moving away.
Yeah, we even have Silas moving up, as you mentioned as well, so that's going to be more and more pressure. And this is the thing as well, when you don't have total vision control in your own jungle, you have to back away. You can't take the risk that they're not coming, because if you do that, you're going to be in a worse situation. A 1v1 in the mid lane here. Perkz will get the stun off. As Bo Tibbers there. I really wish they had different hairs. It would be nice. Yeah, just something that rather than the health bars to kind of come in. Fight, fight, fight! My Tibbers is better than yours. You know, when you're a kid, just, you know, like my doll is better than yours.
And teddy bear fight, yeah.
Yeah, teddy bear fighting. It's just like mine's better. They're the exact same doll, but for kids, they make a world of a difference.
I mean, it worked out there for Perkz. Actually able to stick around in that mid lane, manages to get the pushback. So that's at least the big ultimate down for Perkz. Leader will still have access to a lot of these others, but still buying a little bit of space here for Vitality to try and move into this top side, get some vision control, and see if they can hang around for Astralis as they move up. Numbers advantage here for Vitality.
Yeah, they got a couple of people just hiding off in the brush as the Draven does come back in. It is a Gale Force finished up here for Kobe. We'll have his flash up in the next couple of seconds as well. Rift Herald up in a minute 20, 3 minutes 30 to the next Dragon. It is an Ocean Rift. So kind of see a couple of items being finished up here. The Ravenous Hydra for Photon as we wait to see that first item here for Finn. And of course the Everfrost coming in for a Leader as he just tries to kind of continue being a beefy boy in that mid lane.
I think the big fight here is going to be for Rift Herald in a minute's time. You do have decent vision control that Vitality just established there, and they're having a lot of those summoner spells come back up for Photon, for Perkz, which should be available just in time. But similar story, honestly, for Astralis, and with those one-item spikes, very much in favor of Astralis right now. If they can prevent resets from Vitality before this Rift Herald starts, I think they're going to be in good shape. You can see Vitality not really in a position right now to try and complete these initial mythics to start this fight off.
And they're in a good spot, though, outside of that. They are able to kind of get the sideway push in here with Photon, who, despite the 3-1-0 Olaf, is still doing exceptionally well in this lane. Has himself nicely, pretty much even apart from those kills and a couple of 100 gold here or there. Those plates definitely helping him out as we get almost identical plates across the board. Again, more and more pressure kind of coming in. This is the big thing as well. Like, you're looking at all the tools available to Vitality, and they are going to be able to kind of use that, you know, to their advantage around these fights. But if Astralis find themselves on top of Upset, after your, you know, your burst of perks and bow, there's not really a lot else after that for Vitality to really use in a fight. They have to make sure Upset's the constant, you know, kind of carry in these.
Not being able to play around with bow in a dangerous spot. Finn immediately reading that chances are the cross map was going to be coming down to that bottom side. Perks hasn't had a chance to reset, so he's not able to TP into a bot side play. Really good job here from the Astralis solar laners to shut down any opportunity for Vitality to answer for the Rift Herald that's been taken. And already you can see a ton of pings going onto this top side. 113's moving up straight away to make sure that he can toss that one down. Actually, changing his mind now as he does see that the bot tower will fall first.
He does get stunned. Does he get caught out? There's going to be a flash in there from Kaiser to get the ultimate down. Leader's trying to see if he can survive, but he doesn't have the sustain. Upset gets himself some nice little stackaroonies, and that is the Draven very much going to be online.
Still playing the bot side here. Finn
No
in trouble.
ult. No ult on Finn. No Ragnarok, which means he's just going to be CC'd underneath the tower, shut down by Photon. And this is Vitality just reading the map so well.
I'm so sorry. I was just saying that the solar laners were doing so well for Astralis. They'd spotted everything that was coming, but instead Vitality go, yeah, you might know it's coming, but there's nothing you can do about it. Upset now, massive with the extra goal that he got off those kills. Control over bot side, and now you're in a position where Photon can continuously shove in this bot side and threaten plays in towards the mid lane. Any sort of dive. You got Perks as well, who's going to be able to continuously shove in towards this top end too. So at the moment, Astralis in a bit of trouble. They are looking strong in the mid lane at the moment as they did get the resets off. Upset very low on mana here, but with the dragon in a few seconds, Upset really needs to get this reset off and spend that gold he just picked up.
Yeah, well, surely going to be dropped in here to this mid lane. It's going to secure that tier 1 as well. Thank you, Berlin. And we see what they want to try and go for from here. Again, still haven't gotten the Upset reset just yet, so definitely going to see what he's able to kind of come back in onto the lane with that. I was going to say for a second, that almost looked like 2 Kraken Slayers, and I was very concerned.
For Astralis, having this control is fantastic though, because you can look at 113's ultimate, Jonghoon's ultimate. If you try to push through these choke points as Vitality, it gets incredibly, difficult to actually make anything happen. So that's why you can see Astralis trying to play at the forefront here, make sure they're spotting out where Vitality are coming in. Upset only now making it in towards the river. Astralis in a decent spot as long as they can hold these chokes, but good ward for the TP means the Perks can flank.
Huge flank, and he has flash as well. No wards whatsoever. Perks could flash into this bush and they still wouldn't even know he's there. That's how big of a flank this is. Now they get him out, they're going to go straight away for the fight. They're going to have the Maokai ultimate to disengage. Perks isn't quite there, but he finds 2 men on the backside. Kave does end up getting the cleanse, the flash away, and the Annie is dead. It's a 2-for-1 trade. He was just a little too late on the play. Perks just couldn't find his man quick enough.
And Vitality end up getting claps on both, though, still trying to go in for this. Finding Kave in the bot lane. Picks up 1, but now the engage onto the top end.
Yeah, they're going to see Photon. He wants to get himself a reset, but he won't get it in time. It's another 1-for-1 trade, so it's still 2 for 3 in favor. Never mind, 4 for 2 in favor of Astralis as Bo looks to try and maybe smite this one away. It's going to be difficult. Can he kick out 113? That's the question. Yes, he can. Now you can't go for this. Bo's on a mission. Bo takes down another, and Leader tries to clean it all up. It's scrappy, but Astralis will get their objective in the end.
That was hella messy on this bottom side of the map. Astralis, though, as you say, will manage to get themselves 3rd dragon, but this from start to finish, it looked good for Vitality. You have Perks on the flank, but they end up engaging too early, thinking 113 is going to be in a good position. Great ultimate from Jonghoon, fantastic bubble as well to keep Bo in check. And even though Annie does end up getting access to the backline, Kave survives. You've only got Upset who's trying to deal damage, but they just don't have enough to really finish off some of these low health members. And Leader, massive in this fight as well, has hit level 11, has the Everfrost plus change in his back pocket to actually step up and be a carry once he can get access to Upset.
Leader just kind of keeps this one alive, constantly chasing down, has basically a full mana bar, so all he's waiting on is cooldowns. And I will say it's heroics from Bo to take down 2 more to keep the gold even as such, but ends up being a 4 for 5 in favor of Astralis. But I mean, this is the power of Astralis, the burst they have available to them.
The
Leader
clone
just,
whack.
yeah, like just doing so much there. Bo 6-2 and 3 now. That's a 2-item Wukong, so he's significant, but it's definitely not the items you want on the particular, you know, champion.
I mean, it definitely helps with the opportunity to fight Kaiser over the wall.
He goes over the wall, pops down his ultimate. They're going to see the Whirling Death come in as Kobe did have to get himself back over the side, so he's going to put down his ultimate. 113 has no flash to get away from this, and Vitality find themselves an opportunity to fight back.
Leader pushing in that top side, didn't have ultimate, so Vitality collapse immediately. Now they're going to have to go and deal with the Sylas, who's running for the hills. No ultimate on any of the Vitality members. Sylas should be able to get this. Reset up, flash over the wall.
Flash
Photon's going to
over the
stop
wall.
him.
Photon knows where he is, so he's going to be able to try and get this one fight going. I will say Photon's going to be careful. That it was a big abduct that did not get hit. Now they're going to try and steal away his ult. Flash in, flash away. Kaiser needs to try and make sure he cannot get away. There is 5 members chasing you, Leader. You are the carry of Astralis. They want dead. As Skarl comes back in, they do secure it up. 8-2 and 3 now on Bo.
But the mid lane tower is going to go down for it. They sent everything in the kitchen sink up to that top end, and it gives the opportunity for Astralis to actually respond in kind with a mid lane turret. Olaf pushing the bot side, but literally as the 20-minute mark hits, Baron up and available. Vitality are there, but no ultimates available at all pretty much across the board. Finns will be the first up.
No flashes. This is risky. They're going to try and flip this one here. You got Perks on a flank, but they know he's there. 113 in the vicinity. Will not have his ultimate for another 8 seconds. 4,000, 3,000 on the HP of the Baron. Perks has been taken away off of this. Cobbin's going to cleanse away the little bit of CC. They're still on the Baron. There's going to be a TP coming in. That is Leader joining back on the play. It's going to be a complete flip, but Vitality have gone off it. They don't know which way they want to go. It comes in 124, and Bo secures it. That was definitely a weirdest smite fight I've seen. Annie and Draven go down, Bo as well, but they get the Baron, and Vitality just trying to make this game completely chaotic.
But 3 members of Vitality died. You can already see they're starting off with a negative Red Bull Baron power play. They try to make this work, but it's all over the place. Vitality's half of them are pulling back, half of them are going in. Both still on Baron, and Astralis are just waiting for those key ultimates to just barely come off cooldown at the right times. You can see Upset has to try and step away from the ultimates coming in, leaves Bo separated in the pit. Somehow, he just barely manages to get this, but Photon Kaiser leaving Upset out to dry, Bo stuck in the pit. It's easy pickings for Astralis as Vitality are completely split up.
Astralis did not panic. They could have, you know, maybe gone for something, you know, oh dear Lord, you know, not really expecting the Baron, but they knew exactly what was going on. They kept an eye out for Perks. They were never going to get flanked. Vitality do get the Baron, but like you said, it is still very much in the negative for the moment. You start off with plus 1,500, so they actually lost 2 grand off that.
The big thing to look out for, though, is going to be Kobe. Kobe has been fantastic all split long, and now sitting 3 items, 5, 1, and 3 on this Lucian. He's going to be a fantastic spot. Dragon in a minute's time available here if Astralis want to try and take that fight, and so far Astralis' team fighting has been absolutely spectacular.
It's Bo versus Kobe. That's what it is right now. You can see the gold on the side there, just kind of 11,000 here as Leader. Does not get the Scuttlebug there, but I mean, we saw the kill for Upset. Upset got 2 early kills. In a world of Dravens, that's the best start you can ever think of. It just hasn't materialized, and it really does feel like this Lucian is just getting too big to handle.
Oh, Perks. Welcome to Kobe damage,
as I was just saying.
But I think the thing is, the way that Astralis have been able to set up these fights has been so much better. Vitality have had Photon diving backlines, and have had Bo diving backlines, but it's left Upset on his Todd. He needs a front line to provide the space for this Draven to take his targets as they come, but instead Astralis are not giving him that opportunity, and they've been doing a great job of causing him a ton of issues with the big one-line ultimates of the Maokai and the Nami.
And well, TP came in here as Perks looks to try and take out 113. They are going to bring him down fairly decently, but they haven't got the consistent damage, and then Nautilus is dead. There's a good ultimate onto the backside, though, and 113 has gone down. They killed off the Lucian as well. The Cled's got 2. Leader goes gold, and as you can see, there's Finn trying to get more done on this backside. The Annie's been traded back. It's a 3 for 2 in favor of Vitality, a 4 for 2. And now the triple comes in. Finally, Vitality get themselves a fight. They've been keeping this game so chaotic.
It has been a bonkers game, but Vitality find the pick, and now they still have the Baron buff there as well to make sure that they're able to push this one forward. Upset Photon going to focus on structures as Bo moves over to get that Ocean Dragon for themselves as well. This game is everything I could have wanted and more, Oshin.
It is just so much action all of the time. I feel bad for our poor observers trying to get some replays in, but we will see the mid lane turrets go down, and of course the Ocean Soul point here to Vitality to get it all. And honestly, you're looking, and we've talked about the 3 items there for the Lucian. There's 3 items on Photon now.
This is where, though, like, 113 just takes that step a little bit too far forward. Finn has to try and TP in, so immediately trying to burst at the Maokai. I did get a bit worried as I saw Upset being completely pushed out of this fight as Finn comes in, focused on the Draven, but Bo, with all these early kills, he's terrorizing the backline alongside Photon, immediately pick off Kobe, and then it becomes a case of take the carries as they come, turn the attention to leader, goes golden, Photon deals with him to prevent him getting on towards Upset, and at that stage, it's Bo and Photon carrying this fight for Vitality.
I mean, Bo is starting that whole thing off with a 4-man Cyclone. Just insane amounts of value on that Black Cleaver as well. Just shredding everybody down to be taken out by Photon as well. So really, really well done by him. And again, it's kind of, you know, a very different setup from what we saw from Bo in the first series of this group stage, because he was kind of giving over free kills. He wasn't being that big carry that we've, you know, kind of hotted him up to be in so many times. But this time around on this Wukong, he's making everything work.
And I think a lot of that has been Photon just kind of taking a back seat as Upset has come into the roster, having that attention move down to the bot side, with Perks continuously trying to lean into that bot end to get Upset into a position he can carry. But right now, it is Bo kind of showing what he's capable of when he gets these carries picks. And I think it's nice to see Bo stepping up like this, because it has been a bit of a shaky split for him. We've seen games where he looks absolutely fantastic, but then we also see like Maokai or Vibe performances that have not gone his direction. So at home on the Wukong, again, like we saw in Game 2 against Mad Lions, and having fantastic carry performance here.
And I love the Perks going for the Royals Crystal Scepter here as well. He recognizes he is a stun bot, and then immediately it's about sustaining the slow, keeping people off of your backline, specifically off of your Draven, and trying to let Upset do his job. So we can see that goal difference this entire game. It's changed up a little bit.
Just a slight.
Just a slight little bit, as we can see 113 getting caught out once more. Gonna have to use his ultimate there just to try and keep him there. The aftershock keeps him fairly healthy, but you're losing that Nature's Grass so early.
I will say though, Perks not having the ultimate either did blow up that, but you can kind of see the problem with this build is that Perks isn't going to be a damage dealer. So Annie and Nautilus not really going to be a big threat for 113, so both teams will back away with Baron in 30 seconds. I don't think either squad is really in a position to try and rush this, so 113 going to move in again to try and get some vision down.
Goodbye, Tibbers. Taken down by Astralis. They were done with your shenanigans. You can see the vision control right now is actually kind of fairly well dotted for Vitality. They've got decent ones on bot side, they've got some decent wards up top as well. So there's not really many places that you can see here for Astralis to kind of get a decent flank for Maokai, get, you know, the kind of Kobe to assassinate somebody. So we'll see with Bo on vision. It's going to be hard for them to really make this one work. Here we go. There's going to be Hook coming in straight off that 113. Needs to try and get himself away. That's a good tidal wave on the 4 though, as Photon and Bo make work on this back side. Kobe has nowhere to leave, and he finally gets himself away. It is going to be the Olaf jumping straight onto Upset, and he goes down. He's done his job, and even a little bit more. Gets everybody distracted to come back into it, so it's a 1-for-1 trade.
We'll end up picking up 113 and Finn, so at least it's something for Vitality as they turn over towards this objective. Every time Astralis try to use the double TPs that they have in a side lane, Vitality immediately engage with Photon to make sure they're not getting any value. And now Astralis on the back foot, 3 men trying to step up against the worst part of Vitality to try and fight again.
Perks has flash and has ultimate, looking for Kobe, and he finds him with no sums. Perks perfectly positioned to take down the AD carry of Astralis. Leader can do nothing. It's a double kill going over to the Annie. And Younghoon is on the wrong side of the map. They're emoting, they're having a bit of fun because they know the inevitable is coming.
And as well, with a minute and a bit until this next dragon, it feels inevitable that Vitality are going to be able to pick up this soul. Vitality, it has been a brawl to get them here, but with 10 kills on towards Bo, 7 for Photon, the front line is doing work in this squad, and we kind of get to see it here again. So immediate engage onto 113, knowing it has no ult, you're not going to get the value out of the Radiance Virtue because of that, so they can burst him down. And Photon again, immediately into the back line, causing so many issues for Kobe, so he can't step up. Finn returns in kind by being able to take down the return AD carry, but Vitality pick off Finn then, and then they still know they have so much damage between the top and jungle that they're happy to go for this. Perks, we talked about him not having that ultimate to begin with, but it coming back up in perfect timing to finish off Kobbe.
Yeah, no sums as well. Kobbe having to use both his cleanse and his flash just to get away from Photon, who jumped right onto that backside. So really good recognizing the fact that he had got the advantage should he get the stun off, and he's got a hell of enough burst to be able to do that. We know, we talked about his build not having the most burst available to the tanks, but against the squishies, he's got enough in the tank.
Now Astralis, caught between a rock and a hard place, not really in position with their vision to set up for this dragon, so they send leader to the top end, but Vitality had already pushed out of these waves, so you're not really threatening the tier 2. So for Vitality, they should be able to finish off this dragon, still be able to get back and keep their structures in check. And now what was already a bit of a brawl has become an uphill battle for Astralis. They need to find some way to find picks somehow, some way, but when you're moving as this 5-man death squad for Vitality, it's incredibly difficult to do so.
And the gold lead for Vitality is now 6,000. I'm just going to put your eyes between the two junglers there. I'm going to see if you can tell me where that 6,000 gold is going. Because that is literally 6,000 between the Wukong and the Maokai. That is an absurd lead right now, because we're probably just waiting for one more item where Bo is going to have 2 items ahead of 113.
And now they're onto the inhibitor. You got Photon pushing mid. Photon still has ultimate to join in very quickly if Astralis do try and make a play here. Already moving across.
Yeah.
Ultimate blown and Terror gone.
Yeah, Terror gone, ultimate, yeah, just to kind of bring in the cavalry. Everyone gets a nice little speed boost. You got 2 double cannon minion. They can move back in towards this mid lane. You can see Leader trying to clear this one out. Vitality getting a little bit overzealous here. They will eat themselves on the tree roots and the tidal wave, but they're going to go straight in on the backside. 113 force a flash wave, but can he get away? That is the question. Good hook there on the Kobbe, forcing him to cleanse. There's 2 kills already. Your front line is dead. Kobbe has nowhere left to be. He's trying to kite this one out as best he possibly can. Bo goes underneath the laser of the fountain, but it looks like Vitality have finally cracked open this base. It was scrappy, it was hella chaotic, but they got the job done.
It was a banger of a game, but unfortunately Kobbe just isn't allowed to play the game, and now Vitality will take game 1 in this series.
That
To see if we still get that high priority on the Lucian, or whether they'd be like, all right, you know what, screw this, we're taking the Wukong for ourselves, we can't let Bo get his hands on that.
Yeah, we'll see what they want to try and go for right now. We are going to see kind of similar bans coming in here. The Varus still being one, the Lulu as well. So not changing up. Maybe Astralis, obviously, you know, kind of seeing that maybe 113 not having the best of impacts on that Maokai. Maybe they take it from themselves. Again, we talked about it in the last champ select. The junglers went very far down the priority before we actually saw them being picked up.
Which I was really surprised at, especially when you started to see like the vibe bands and everything coming through. But sticking to the same bands, honestly, having pretty much the exact same coming through, so no real difference here, as we're going to be seeing what Astralis is going to prioritize. Going to be the Xayah this time around, so making sure that Kobbe has a bit more of that self-peel after learning his lesson in the last game.
He had a little bit, but now he needs even more. You got so many things, and I like this as well because we are seeing this kind of, you know, as a pick that's generally kind of traded back with the Vi. It's normally the Vi first pick we see into kind of the Xayah Rakan, but now we're seeing the Rakan picked up, and it does feel like, in my opinion, if you're going solely to kill the Xayah, I actually prefer the Wukong, because the Wukong can kind of just sit underneath her while she goes up into her feathers.
Yeah, I agree. At least it gives you some flexibility there, but it definitely is going to be a bit of a tough one, because I think not taking the Wukong here might have been a bit of a mistake, because for 113, you can actually opt in towards taking the Wukong yourself. Means you're probably looking at something like a Maokai or a Vi then for Bo, which doesn't do the best in towards the Xayah, especially if you kind of want to look at something like a Zeri or something for upset here, where he has had a good time, but with the Lulu band may not be top of the priority.
I mean, you know, the Wukong is such a huge one right now, because we see it globally. The Wukong and the Rakan is such an incredible combination between the two, but I feel like taking the Silence means you're kind of left in the situation where you have to lock into your support. You cannot just let the Xayah go you know, kind of unpartnered, really. And honestly, right now, like, you know, we've been talking about up so much, but I would love to see Team Vitality kind of lock in that Wukong again for Bo, get him, you know, hooking up with Kaiser.
I think the only problem now is that you kind of need to take your AD carry because the Xayah is there. Like, you're looking at, I mean, a Zeri potentially, but not the best unless you want to, you can't, like, with the Rakan, you're, well, no, maybe they're going to go for it, because you tend to want some sort of enchanter with her, but I think if you end up leaving it, then like Zeri Jinx gets banned, and then you're kind of in a difficult spot unless Upset wants to fall back towards the Aphelios. But now, going to take this area, so chances are we're going to see a good amount of, again, Vitality. They banned away the top laners last time, got rid of things like the Malphite, which are probably a good call here once more. Whereas when we looked at Astralis, they were the ones that were actually trying to pinch that champion pool in the jungle. But I think you take the Wukong, you actually leave open the Vi this time around, because for Kobe, you're totally fine to play against the Vi in this sort of situation.
And not only that, Silas does fantastic with a Vi ultimate, so there's something that can get on top of the Zeri. And honestly, I actually think the Vi would be such a bait pick here for Team Vitality, because the one thing that kind of does well into a Zeri from a jungle perspective is guaranteed engage.
So we're actually going to see Vitality instead mixing it up. They're going to start banning away junglers as well. So I am curious what the plan is here. We know the Bo, like from solo queue, has just been a terror when it comes towards these carry picks. We saw, you know, Shun over in the LPL, and a couple of these guys bringing out things like the Kindred and those kind of things. So maybe this is the moment where we actually see Photon defaulting back towards something like a Malphite for himself on that top side, although you don't really want to do that against the Silas, but some sort of mega tank in the top lane, and then providing a front line for some sort of double DPS from the jungle in the AD carry.
Well, and there's the Vi as well, so we're going deep into the jungle pools now. That's 6 jungle bans. The Lee Sin does slip through, so now it's going to be 1-1-3. He's got to figure out what he wants to go for.
Which is a bit of a toughie. I mean, the Elise gone as well. Probably going to default towards Jarvan. I think he can work relatively okay here. I know for Zeri, she can hop out a lot of those situations, but you can do some decent setup. Xin Zhao also wouldn't be a terrible one in this situation, where I think you can use that Crescent Guard to make sure you are safe from a lot of the damage that's coming through. That's kind of been a default for teams in LCK and LPL, but you are definitely looking deep here when it comes towards the jungle role.
And that's the thing, the LEC will be the final region to finish off, you know, when we go in towards MSI, towards internationals, where we are going to start having a bit more of a focus here on the LCK, on the LPL representatives, because they're just the ones you're going to be facing. They're the ones you're going to have to kind of go toe-to-toe with. So Xin Zhao ends up coming out here for 1-1-3. Not quite the Jarvan, does very similar stuff. Good early skirmisher, and actually decent enough into the Lee Sin as well, so shouldn't be too easy to bully out.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Bo is that you're not going to have a huge amount of targets for late game team fights, right? You're going to have the Silas, who's relatively fine if you try and jump in onto him. Xayah has that ultimate as well to try and escape. So it definitely feels like Bo, a lot of his focus is going to be on trying to play around the spot side, making sure they get set up for success in the early stages, and then letting Photon, who's got the counter pick and the Jax here, scale into the later portion of the game where he's going to be able to play against Finn. But it definitely is a bit of a different route here, not having that Kled in the top end for Photon, where he can play more towards the team fight with this style. So it is going to be, again, very much dependent on, can the mid jungle on both sides get that early lead and bleed that over then into side lane.
Yeah, I think the big difference here from Team Vitality, yes, they still have the Tibbers, but that's kind of their only, you know, kind of first up burst engage. After that, it's very much kind of elongating it, making sure the Zeri is set up. On the other side of this one here, again, you still have the Silas, you still have the Olaf. You can get access to those backlines, so it's going to be about kind of, as you mentioned, these two solo laners going to have the bigger impact.
Yeah, I think the fact that you have at least some sort of heal on the Rakan, the double shields as well coming through from the Annie, means that maybe you can provide a bit more appeal for the Zeri in these fights compared to what Finn was able to do in the last game, but it's still going to be pretty difficult here. It definitely feels like a huge amount of this is once more coming down to who can get control of the early game and start to get that ball rolling.
If game one was anything to go off of, we are going to get very scrappy very quickly. Good early kind of, you know, adaptations as well. Good early kind of, honestly, kind of plays coming out from Vitality.
Literally the level 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you know, kind of being creative, being, you know, kind of throwing things out into off order, so then all of a sudden you're down a flash, you're down this, you don't have a lot more, but we'll see what either of these teams can do in game number 2.
Thank you very much for joining me, AOD. What did you think of Vitality's draft in the first game? Because it felt like they were copying Astralis.
I think we were actually expecting pretty much everything they did, including bans and picks, so there weren't really any surprises, I would say.
What did you tell your team going into this match? How are you going to shut down the Bo show?
I think we were willing to run it back, you know, but they kind of stopped us from doing that by changing their bans, and I think we're pretty happy with the variations as well, so we're happy.
And talk to me about the Xin Zhao pick for 1-1-3, because this was his most played champion in the LFL, but it's the first time we've seen him play at the LEC, so what are you expecting?
It is a 1-1-3 special, so we all trust it, and it's been practiced as well.
Did he ask you, pretty please, can I play him?
No, he doesn't have to. I believe in it. I'm actually one of the ones who pushes it the most, usually, so...
Brilliant. It's so fantastic to hear that, and I can't wait to see what happens in game. So we're going to head over to Oshin and Dagda now to see how it plays out.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Love getting those little bits of insights as well. And new name. It was My Boy Bo is what I used to say, but now it's the Bo Show. Bo Show.
Yeah, the Mad Dog on the leash hasn't been as, you know, right, I'll say, correct for Bo this time around. He's been a lot more solo, but still been working out well for him. Now we'll have to see if he can have that early impact again here. I think a huge amount of it once more going to be trying to play around this Annie, the CC onto leader, and just work through that 1-2 combo with a ton of early damage coming through from Bo on this Lee Sin.
Yeah, that's the big thing as well. It's something that we've seen him multiple times in multiple areas of his own game, how to just do exceptionally well with. Maybe a bit of a trade back here on this top side. It is a Conqueror for Finn and press the attack onto Photon. Hook does land here onto Upset as he tries to just kite this one back. Nothing else going to be happening there. Very difficult really to kind of make anything going in that bot side. But again, like you said, kind of, you know, two very early skirmishing junglers. Level 2 going to be hit by Astralis here. Very early flash in, gets the stun down. The level 2 comes in here for Vitality. Upset flashes away and uses the Ghost. Kaiser trying to see if he can keep anybody interested, but it's Astralis' bot lane that has the early advantage.
Great job from Kobe and Jonghoon there to actually burn these early summoner spells, pushing Upset back now. You can already see, unfortunately, 113 is pathing up towards that top side, so it won't really be for a while that he gets back down here to try and punish that, but at least for the moment, Kobe and Jonghoon getting control over that lane.
Photon trying to be aggressive here, but the wave's in a pretty dire space for him right now, and if the Olaf can get a couple more axes down, might see it. The jungler's already moving into each other as well. Top lane going to see a flash burn there by Finn as the jungler's going into 1v1 as well. It's Xin Zhao versus Lee Sin. There's going to be a little bit more damage. Flash for flash. Does he get another one? Bo goes back in! And Bo says, get the hell out of my jungle!
113 tried to flash the Sonic Wave, but it just barely pips him, and then Bo able to get away from the auto attack and follow that back through. That was so close to going either way.
That's the mechanical prowess that we want to see from Bo. That's what we were so excited for, because it is those moments, those small little differences that can mean huge advantages for the side of Vitality later on this game.
Jonghoon now on this top side though, Photon incredibly low. They know that Bo had to reset, so they're on a timer. Jonghoon wants to make it happen.
No flash here for Photon. He gets hooked up, taken down. Finn collects that kill, and Astralis get themselves on the board.
You can see Kaiser hovering around mid lane, thought that's where the play was going to happen, but nice movement from Jonghoon to make things happen in that top end and get that early control now for Finn, especially since the summoner spells had to be blown early for Finn. It'll make such a big difference for the Olaf.
Dagged, I'm excited. This is looking very similar to game number 1.
Do you feel at home, do you?
I do. It feels like I'm back in the LPL. We got Bo here on Lee Sin, doing Lee Sin things, you know. Everyone's fighting. There's a support meta where everyone's a hard engage. It's like 2019, 2020 all over again.
The best style of League of Legends. Get the enchanters out of here. But have to be said, like, fantastic play here from both sides of the equation, right? Jonghoon, but also just going to see here with Bo, this is going to be the pro view, and Spot 113 coming in, yeah. Manages to just about get enough of the damage here. You can see here, just barely hits the Sonic Wave. 113 tries to flash it, and then realizing just being able to drop vision for a second is the Xin Zhao can't get the extra auto off to finish him off.
Great start there by Bo in the jungle, but equally kind of equaled out there by Astralis. You can see there Finn having a little bit of a finer time as Jonghoon kind of moves himself up. And this is the thing, when you go with Xayah and the Zeri, your supports are freed up. They can kind of go wherever they need to be, and this is where we're going to have to try and see, you know, kind of the meta kind of shift back away from what we saw earlier in 2023. It was all about the bot lane, staying there for as long as possible, and it's about impacting the map, getting out and being with your laners and your jungler.
Oh, though, still sitting around on this top side, really wants to punish Finn, who has no summoner spells, and the wave is going to crash. Leader trying to move his way up.
Yeah, he's got no flash, got no ghost, and he's got nowhere to go. Finn is taking more auto attacks, and was he getting a little bit of regen, but good to see him there. Leader trying to move up onto here, but I think Bo is going to be just fine.
A response from 113 trying to move down towards the bot side, will pick up the dragon for himself, knowing that Photon and Bo had to reset. So nice job here already. We talked about Bo needing to have this early impact because he was just going to kind of fall off a cliff with the way these compositions work. So already 2 kills to his name and making sure that he's having his name known on the map.
All right, I'm going to call you out right now. Does he get more kills than he did in game 1? He had 11.
Probably not. Did it?
No faith in your boy Bo. The Bo Show.
It's a little bit difficult when you're on a Lee Sin to have that high of an impact.
Right. Like, he just looked those 2 kills, make him look easy.
We'll have to see. We'll see who's going to be right by the end of this. But either way, I think you should start donating some of these kills across the perks. Won't be on the business end of that hook from Jonghoon, but you definitely want to try and get kills into Photon here. Although it's very nice to get the kill, you would like this Jax to really start to scale into the later portion of the game. Is running the Ignite, so won't be able to TP into a lot of these fights, but having that 1v1 over the Olaf is going to be such a big break point for Vitality, as Bo not going to be around mid, as Leader and Finn sharing time here in the mid lane now.
Yeah, Finn not really getting close enough to getting level 6. I thought maybe they would look for like a cheeky little play with the Ragnarok, knowing no stun could come in, but not really going to be happening in that sense of the game. And I love that you brought up the Ignite for Photon as well, because it really does hammer home that this is going to be a side lane Jax. Not going to be one of those Jaxes that we see, you know, kind of, you know, traditionally where they're TPing on the backside, getting a 2-3 man counter-strike on the back end and just kind of wailing on the AD carry, because let's be real, unless he's setting up 2 or 3 minutes before an objective, he's not going to get an opportunity to.
Well, I think it's kind of a difficult one. The Ignite is very necessary, I think, in a lot of these Olaf matches, and people kind of realizing, hey, look, this Olaf is going to be running the Ghost or some variant of it, so having that Ignite is going to make this matchup a little bit easier. I still think you're probably going to see Photon in a lot of these fights, simply because if Astralis just kind of let it go to the wayside, well, then you end up in a situation where you're always 4 versus 5. They've already got these early dragons, so I think by default they kind of need Photon to be part of that equation. Even Jonghoon now up here once more, trying to see if he can get that advantage for Finn, but it is leaving both the AD carries just kind of to their own devices with a cull on Gupset.
Yeah, Finn will pop the Ragnarok as the counter-strike goes down. Photon just walk himself away. Has Ignite now and his ultimate, but doesn't have the support of his team just yet. Now Bo and Perks kind of moving up towards this top side. There is a flash on Perks, but he's not really in a position to try and go in for any kind of big play right now, and Perks might still think about it right now. Jonghoon, I'm not sure he wanted to go for that. He flashes away, but the Sonic Wave lands, and Bo gets his 3rd kill.
Big mistake there for Jonghoon, trying to find that engage on towards Perks, but there was never really going to be much of a follow-up. Vitality had already transferred all their members up. Astralis should have been aware of this, and now it leaves them in a bit of an awkward position where they need to try and make a play onto Photon, as he's going to be fine. Leader considered making a play on towards a dive in the bot lane, but that's going to go to the wayside as well. And Vitality, much slower pace in this early stages compared to last game, where we're getting full-on skirmishes and brawls this stage. They're kind of just picking people off and keeping control better.
Yeah, I think Vitality are just kind of happy to kind of go, look, we're ready to go for this, and we're going to keep the same pace that we're looking at. If you're not ready to go toe-to-toe, then you're going to fall behind, and that's just exactly what's happening here. The Rift Herald goes over to Vitality as well. That's going to be a very dangerous Lee Sin coming into those first 15 minutes of the game. Already has a Gore Drinker at just under 9 minutes. That is so insanely accelerated.
Yeah, and it makes him very difficult to deal with in the 1v1 for 113, so he needs to kind of avoid him or play counter jungle, or sorry, counter gank for when they're going for some sort of terror dive. I imagine, though, the big plan here for Bo is move down into this bottom side of the map, see if he can get some resources into Upset. Upset hasn't gotten much in the way of resources in this game, has got the cull, which at least gives him a little bit of advantage when it comes to 1v1, because he just gets more gold out of that bot side. But I think now starting to try and get some plates into this area so she can become that late game carry is going to be very important.
You can see there on the gold graph, Bo nearly double his enemy jungler's gold total right now, which is kind of absurd. And we'll see if he can keep the snowball going. That's the thing, when Lee Sin gets going, gets these early kills, and gets these early items, like you said, becomes incredibly difficult to deal with and can make plays kind of on his own.
Bo, hovering around this mid lane, you got the TP back in from Perks. This seems to be more of a case of, can we get some Summoner spells blown on Leader before this dragon starts to spawn? But so many members of Astralis here. Vitality will spot out 113, so it looks like Bo is just going to back away for the moment.
Jonghoon is in the area. They will pop down a ward just to see that Bo is, in fact, sitting on the mid lane. Bot laners of Vitality were moving towards that mid lane, so if a big scrap had broken out, it definitely felt like Vitality had a bit more use of their champions to kind of work with.
Again, though, we're seeing Astralis going, hey, look, if Bo's there, we don't want to be part of that equation. So 113 moves back up towards the top side, starts blue, and Jonghoon still hovering around mid. I think they want to try and go up towards this top side, but Bo is kind of played around vision here. You assume that he's going to be sitting here for the dragon that's going to be up in 30 seconds time, but he's actually moving topside to make sure Photon is going to be okay to push in this wave with, as this giant wave starts to push in and keep him safe. Might be a little bit late to the party, though.
Yeah, Photon's going to have a bit of an issue trying to deal with this, you would imagine. It's still so difficult to deal with a Jax, especially with the Ignite available. Leader does not get hit by the Sonic Wave, but don't really feel like even as Zinzao and Olaf can really be 100% sure they're going to be able to get a perfect dive against a Jax with, you know, everything available.
Yeah, I think they just spot Vitality members on that top end and call it off. So now Vitality go back in towards this Dragon. You've missed your timing window for Astralis on the top end, so they're feeling safe to go for this. Leader, though, has pushed mid, so maybe once more they're thinking about going for this with a 3-man dive. Photon going to back away. Perks has no TP to try and help this one out, so Photon will lose out at least a little bit in the long run on this play for the Dragon.
He's got to play weak side, though. You can see him. He really wants to put himself in position to be able to take this wave, and that little bit of hubris is going to be his downfall. He flashes away. 113 tries to get himself out of turret aggro. They're going to be able to get this one. Photon 1v3ing, almost taking everyone else out with him, but nobody else dies from Astralis. They do get the successful kill.
It took 3 flashes, but they get the job done, and now Bo moving in onto this bottom side.
Oh, they get the perfect kickback, and that means Kobet's going to an immediate ultimate to try and keep himself safe. That's going to be another kill for Bo, and they do give one over to this area as well. TP from Leader, just too little, too late. And with the Rift Herald, Leader had lost his flash top.
And now Perks with the ultimate. Shelly comes down and says, hey, Leader, how's it going? Doesn't look like you're having the best of times.
Oh, that's going to be a trade back, though, for Leader. Does get a massive amount of shutdown. That was 700 gold, so still a 1-for-1 in that regard. Lots of plates going over to Vitality in this bot side as well, but Vitality still coming out the better of the trade, you would imagine.
Well, Finn got all those plates in the top side. Is 113 in trouble.
He is in a lot of trouble, but they're going to see a lot of damage coming out from this turret. They're trying to just kite this one out, and Vitality are just gaining. Next challenger, please. They're going to take them all.
Jonghoon throwing the towel. You don't want this one anymore. Vitality are looking very, very strong, but top side, 1,000 gold lead essentially for Finn in that top end, having got all that extra gold. The 1,000 gold is answered though by upset in the spot side. We said we wanted to see resources going into this area, and that play definitely gave a hell of a lot of those kills and gold into this area. So right now Vitality feeling pretty good, I'll say, about their chances now. With a Dragon to their name, they're going to be looking towards this next Rift Herald in a minute half, where I wouldn't be surprised if they shove in bot, try and catch this final turret, and then move up towards the top side for the Rift Herald.
And I love this from Bo as well. Gets the immediate kick, which means that you're already taking so much damage here, Scobby, before you've even mitigated it with your ult.
I will say, big hook from Jonghoon. Being able to prevent the immediate follow-up from Rakan actually buys a bit of time where you can then try and get Leader in here, but it's just a little bit too late. And really good job from Leader here to actually manage to get the turnaround kill. Shelly comes down, Bo already very low, and Leader just does a decent job of getting all that damage and the CC to make sure he can get the Chain Lash second proc to finish off the low health Lee Sin.
And again, that was a big shutdown. That was 700 gold now going over to Leader. Does mean he finished off his Sork shoes after getting his Rod of Ages finished up here. Now Kaiser trying to see if he can help out Photon and Bo as the rest of Astralis are making their way towards this top side. They really want to try and put their strong side of the map to be top. They're going to jump in, flash away. Is Kaiser now getting caught up himself? Gets his quickness stolen away from him. Can he get away? That's the question. Looks like he can for the moment. 113 jumps in as we can see Photon with the counter-strike. It's a 4-man mock-up. They can continue to CC everybody down, and Bo is just taking everyone out on a silver platter. The Viking cannot last any longer. Your history is done. Triple kill for Bo, and you thought he wouldn't get kills.
I was going to say, I'm glad I didn't put any money on that bet, because my God, Bo on the Lee Sin. He is having a phenomenal series here today. Now, looking towards Copy in the mid lane, we'll just be able to clear it this way, but Vitality, they get the Terror in bot lane. They get the play in top. You're not really losing too much in the mid lane as well for all those antics, and Vitality now 5k in the lead.
I mean, I'm gonna wait until we obviously get the replay, but I think Photon getting a huge counter-strike as well was massively imperative to making sure that Astralis just couldn't really react to everything that was coming at them.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of AoE that can come out in that with the counter-strike. You've got the E for the Lee Sin, the Gore Drink in the middle of everyone. Perks didn't have his ultimate available, but just even the W across everyone in that mix as well, and it means that health bars start to go down very, very quickly. But Kaiser does end up going a bit too far here, but with the stopwatch able to buy so much time, get Photon into position, pull out some of the ultimates on towards Bo, and as you called it, Photon, huge CC in the middle of this, and then a ton of AoE into the middle, the knock-ups, the stun, and then just buying that space for Bo here, especially with the tower there. There's not really much space for Astralis to really try and chase this. I think they just needed to try and back away from this play so that they end up not giving over all this extra gold to Vitality.
Have a look at the pro view here, and Bo just gets himself so well positioned. Like, he gets ulted straight away because they know that the position he's in and how strong he is, but he just waits. He bides his time and gets a perfect kick.
I'm trying to see exactly what does happen with the kick, because, yeah, just able to get it through onto leader, waits until he follows the Sonic Wave then on towards leader. Really good stuff from Bo, and I mean, one of the reasons we were talking a lot about him joining the LEC, we're finally starting to get to see that carry performance from the Chinese jungler.
Absolutely. Like, this is what we were excited for. This is what we saw when this guy was kind of announced right now. The quickness comes in. We're going to see Kabe going up into the feathers. The Q lands. He's very powerful, and he goes straight in on top of it. They're going to try and get the kick back. The Q again! It's the Bo show right now, and Vitality are loving it.
Kabe didn't stand a chance. The flash in to get the range, and even Vitality are still pushing him bot side. Where was this Bo?
This is my Bo. This is my Bo right now. This is the Bo that I casted in the LPL, and this is why he was so in my head, was just going to be able to wreck people, because this is what he can do.
Absolute beast. 2 items now. Another dragon. Control for Vitality. And I mean, Astralis, second seed coming into this. Yes, they had the same game score as Vitality, but Vitality, we questioned what they would look like coming in here. Could they finally show up in the bracket stage, making sure they can move on into those top 4? And they want to try and make this another 2-0. Upset finds Finn. Perks trying to get here. 1-1-3 in the wings, so Vitality will back away.
And look, obviously, we're having a lot of fun here with Bo. We're getting very excited for Vitality, but we got to look at this from Astralis' point of view right now, because it's fast and loose, and it does feel like they're just not really having the answers right now. So where do you want to see them try and, well, we might have to see an answer here. Bo looking for a 1v1 against leader. This is going to be the ultimate of the Jax guy with Stone away. Konaku does miss back, but he kicks him back anyway. He's got the cooldown reduction. Perk saying leave that 1v1 alone because he wants the damage. Bo with a kill. Can he get another one? No, he cannot, but he gets himself away. The flash forward is shut down. Goes over to the Olaf, but you've had to invest almost everything into this fight now. The Annie has enough damage to take down the Olaf. While this is happening, Photon's playing PvE.
And the fact that Vitality keep winning these uneven fights is just not making things easy for Astralis. Photon shoving in the top. Vitality now get to move to mid. Perks will rotate to bot to shove in that wave. And the towers are falling continuously in favor of Vitality. The gold lead is ever growing. And you've got 9 kills onto Bo. 3-0, 3-0 for Perks and Upset. Vitality, this is exactly what people were expecting when they saw this team on paper.
I mean, on paper, everyone had the expectations for this team. And, you know, coming into Winter, it was a disappointing end to it. Winter Split was not where this team expected to be. And we can have a look at the replay here because, again, like, Bo just kind of goes, okay, you're coming into me. You're approaching me? You know, you're going to try and fight me? Nuh-uh, not happening.
And especially when leader, he does have the Jax ultimate, but it is a case of the more people around you, the stronger the magic resistant army is that you get. So Bo feeling happy to take this. Eventually Finn shows up, and Bo nearly feeling like he'd take on a second one, but 1-1-3 flashes away to make sure he doesn't get hit. Finn forced the flash to follow up, and Bo means they've nowhere to escape to when the rest of Vitality show up. So Vitality playing so well around Bo right now, and especially as you've got the Jax on the top side. That's a happy, happy Bo.
That is a very happy Bo right there. And you can see just how hard it is for them to contain him right now. No one, honestly, I don't think anybody can really go for it, because even if you go in as Finn with the Ragnarok, you're not going to be able to take this guy on. You're a full item and a half behind this guy.
Astralis trying to see if they can make some sort of pick quickly happen here in towards the mid lane. See if they can get this low health mid lane tower down. Vitality look like they're just kind of going to give this one up. Although, as I say, that TP now from Perks.
TP going to be coming in here to see if they can maybe catch somebody out. There is a flash available for Perks, and he has got his ultimate as well. Bo is here, and Bo wants more to go. We're going to jump into 1-1-3. He's forced to use that crescent guard. He gets charmed up anyway as Leader gets himself taken very, very low. The Xin Zhao is dead. Leader has fallen as well. Photon on the flank, looking to see if he can get a counter-strike. Younghoon can't go anywhere. He has nothing to do except just wait underneath his tower and hope the rain stops.
Oh, that was so sad. Younghoon's like holding onto the tower, like, please save me. But there is no safety from Vitality right now. 20 minutes once more. We see them move over towards the Baron. Waves fully pushing in their favor. Vitality have come alive and want to make it to the top 4.
I mean, they want to not just make it, they want to stamp themselves in and say, look, we are the top dogs, you need to fear us. And again, it's like you said, Astralis, they have to go for these plays because they don't really have any other choice.
And it's a difficult one, right? I think Leader does the right thing here. Go on towards Perks, prevent him from getting that big ultimate into the mid lane. 1-1-3 tries to prevent the entrance from Kaiser, but it doesn't matter. Vitality are relentless as they chase them down, and every time they try to turn around, more and more Vitality members keep popping up to whack them down.
A little bit of whack-a-mole. We can see there, Bo looking for a 1v1 against 113. He's going to be able to get it a little bit. There is a crescent guard. No crescent guard, I should say. Bo, he wants it as much as anybody else. He heard you say he wouldn't get 12 kills. If he gets these 2, he will get it. He's 1v2.
What
Bo
is happening?
He has his team with him, and they will be kill stealing away from him. Perks gets himself a double because he used his flash.
And Vitality still have another member on the bot side. Every time they take the fights, you got to look at the other lanes.
Run! You can't be here right now. Flash away, but you've just given the Olaf over. He's gonna find himself going in. Oh my lord, I thought he was gonna land a Sonic Wave. But yeah, the Zeri's ending the game bot side. The Zeri is getting yourself an inhibitor turret while you're losing members left, right, and center.
I mean, Upset just like, yeah lads, big thumbs up, agree with what you're doing.
Photon,
I'm just
can we
gonna
swap?
chill.
Can we swap Photon? Yeah, cool,
nice,
cool.
Nice. I mean, neither have TP, so you might as well have this bit push 80 carry. So Vitality now just in a fantastic spot, Dragon in 10 seconds, but do you really care? You have Baron, you have push, you have complete control, and they're just going to continue to put the hurt down onto Astralis.
We're going to see Younghoon looking for something here. They put down the ultimate onto Bo, but not really going to have anything else. He goes back in. Bo has another kill to his name. He is taking over this game, and there's nothing Astralis can do. Does he take the Q? He wants this. He was moving towards it. He really wanted to go back in on top of that, but Younghoon on the flank of ages, the flank of gods. But you cannot flank if your base is destroyed, Dagda.
He's a long way from home, and Vitality aren't going to stop. 22 and a half
He's off
minutes,
in space.
and Nexus turret falls. Leader desperately trying, Kobbe trying to work with Finn, but the towers are falling, Oshin.
Yeah, they're going down. You got one last ditch effort here from the side of Astralis to try and keep themselves in this. But it looking like with all the damage, all the gold, all the items, and all the pressure in the world, Vitality are just toying with them right now. They still have Baron for 35 seconds.
Well, they need a wave, and it's about to roll on through. Astralis trying to kill him, but it's gone. Perks catches him.
Yep, they're going for it. Leader going back onto the fountain. They do land a Sonic Wave here. They're going to jump in onto Kobbe, and they're going to get another kill. He said game 1 was a warm-up. Game 2 was the real deal. And Vitality 2-0 Astralis in the fastest game of groups.
In a statement performance, Vitality lock in top 4. Incredible stuff. And Astralis, what? There was nothing they could do.
No,
this Vitality
was
was
overpowering.
unbelievable, just relentless in making sure they could continue that game forward.
Fun little tidbit that I discovered as I was doing my prep into this. Any game that I have casted of Bo has not lost. So if I'm saying to the Vitality guys, you need someone. That was a pop-off. That was 23 kills of a game. So you know what, Vitality management, if you need someone to be, kind of casting for Vitality, you let me know. I feel like I'm a bit of a good luck charm.
Yeah, I don't know what Bo ate today, but holy moly, that was a performance and a half.
He ate Astralis.
Oh, true. But I think the thing is, you're seeing the fact that, again, we were talking about this team as being a triple threat, right? Well, Bo now adding his name into the mix, it feels like everyone on this team can step up and be the carry when they needed to. Perks, we saw him perform on Saturday against Mad Lions, where he was stepping up on things like the Yone to be the carry. Now taking a more facilitator role, going on to only 2 games in a row. Upset, still looking great on his performance on the bot side. But now Bo stepping up again to see that this is why so many people were fearing him as a carry jungler, when he can just pop off on these kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Thumbs up. He's feeling good. He's feeling like it was a pretty good day at the office there for Bo. And look, for Astralis, it's bittersweet. Yes, you do get knocked down in towards the lower bracket, but you're not out. You have a lifeline. That is the beauty of the new LEC format. You're not done just yet. And, days like this happen. You just need to kind of sweep it up, get your prep down, and move on to the next kind of series. But vote for your player of the series at LEC on Twitter. Bo, Perks, and Kaiser. I know where my vote is. I'm not going to influence anyone. I know where my vote is.
yeah, I think it's fairly obvious. But I mean, the fact, I don't know, that was it. I'm just so glad that we got to cast that series, because oh my god, that was incredible. And finally to see Vitality kind of breaking that curse a little bit, looking fantastic. It was great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was our final series of week 4 is just minutes away, but we're going to go throw over to Frankie, who's standing by with Perks.
Thank you very much, guys. What a series from Vitality. Perks, you look like you're still catching your breath. It was so fast.
I mean, I look like I'm catching my breath because I got a little bit sick, like after everyone against Mad Lions. Like it hit me that evening, and then yesterday I was like kind of dead, and today I didn't sleep the best, so I was a bit like worried. But thankfully my teammates are all really good, and I think I played good today as well, so I'm really happy, yeah.
So do you think that Bo was performing like that so that you could get to bed quicker?
Yeah, I asked Bo to carry me today, so that I can, I can rest and like not give too much energy, so I can focus on the best of 5 next week. So yeah, he did just that.
Tell me about Bo's performance today. I mean, Lee said he's seen it as a coin flip pick, and yet in Bo's hands, he just looked absolutely insane.
I mean, it's like Chinese Lee Sin is just different. This is just facts. Like, it's not even like when a Chinese player plays Lee Sin, it just looks like a different champion. So I always tell Bo, just pick, like, even though Lee Sin looks useless, just pick him. You're Chinese, you'll smurf. And he did it, yeah. So yeah, he played really good with Lee this game, and the last game he played Lee as well. So yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, you should be. Talking about the first draft, it was kind of an Astralis draft from the look of it. What was the discussion going into this series in terms of how you wanted to draft?
I mean, honestly, I think we kind of predicted most of the champs they want to play, and like that they're kind of like, how do I say, one-dimensional in the way they draft. Like, it's very straightforward what they're gonna pick. They just like vary it a bit with like the difference of picks. Like, either they're gonna play Sylar, or they're gonna play like Elysion or something, But when they have Lucianami, they can't pick mid jungle together. So it's just like I think they are a little bit figured out right now, and I still think they have a lot of strengths and threats on the team. So I wish them best of luck in the next best of 3 for them. I think they can make it out for sure.
We were talking last week about how you felt on the last patch. How are you feeling on 13.6? Because so far, you've got a 100% success rate. Annie, Ari, Yoni as well, so plenty of variety too. So what's it been like for you? I
mean, as for mid lane, I think you can play like a lot of things right now. Like, there is still a lot of picks I want to play, and I haven't even got to play them because I'm getting these Annie picks. Like, they really want me to play my Tiber. So I think it's great meta. It fits us really well. And yeah, I believe we can go all the way.
And who do you think you'll be seeing if you do go all the way? Say you make it to the final.
I would probably say G2 in the final. But it would be like either G2 or Koi. I think both of those teams are our hardest opponents. And of course, we are their worst nightmare. So I think it'll be, we'll probably meet Koi in the first BO5. And then, yeah, we'll see who we meet in the next one.
Wow, you're a dream on stage today. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Perks. Get to bed, because we need to head over to your mate, Kaiser, because he's over on the desk. In fact, no, we're going to be having a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be chatting to Kaiser, because our final series of Week 4 is just minutes away. It's going to be BDS and Koi battling for a spot in the spring playoffs. We'll see you in a few.
It's Xin Zhao versus Lee Sin. There's going to be a little bit more damage. Flash for Flash. Does he get another one? Bo goes back in!
Flashes, but they get the job done, and now Bo moving in onto this bottom side.
Oh, they get the perfect kick back, and that means Kobet's going to an immediate ultimate to try and keep himself safe. That's going to be another kill for Bo.
Hold up. Yeah, it's fine. You kill. Slowly. I will kill him.
Slowly. Kill Olaf. Think fast, kill him. Nice. Good job, guys.